And now you have to ask yourself, how did 50 come into the possession of Diddy's footage for Diddy's documentary about Diddy? This is crazy because he's making a document himself, but then he took that documentary. Apparently what happened was that Diddy did go to jail and then he couldn't pay the cameraman.
Kurt Barrows has a lot of insight. And, this documentary is about people being able to tell their truth or tell their version of the story.
For a long time, Katt Williams was dismissed as the outspoken comedian who spoke too freely. People laughed, brushed off his words, and moved on. But something shifted. When Katt Williams appeared on Club Shay Shay with Shannon Sharpe, the tone changed. The laughter faded, and people started listening. Because this time, it wasn't just jokes, it was timing. His statements began aligning with real events unfolding around Sean Combs, raising questions about influence, control, and an industry that survives by keeping certain truths buried. Then came 50 Cent. With the release of Sean Combs, The Reckoning, the conversation exploded. The documentary brought forward patterns, timelines, and footage that had circulated quietly for years. But viewers noticed something. Not just what was shown, but what was missing. Certain names, certain connections, entire pieces of the story that seemed intentionally absent. And suddenly, Katt Williams didn't sound crazy anymore. He sounded early.
Def Comedy Jam 25. It's good to see so many funny people together in one room, all wondering the same thing. Is Katt Williams gonna show up?
Shit, I'm nervous as hell right now.
Oh, he's right there.
There he is.
I didn't know he was right there. Nigga, I would not have said that if I had seen that. I'm not used to quiet, introspective Katt Williams.
No. Well, let me ask you this. When have you ever seen this many heavy hitters all together at the same time, in the same room? Yeah. Right.
Giving food to the poor. They was on the streets getting people off of drugs. So they knew Pac had that in them. So I definitely would say they was watching them.
Yeah, I mean, me hearing you break that down like that, you making some good points.
And not only that, Pac himself had disdain. He had hatred for cops. Well, crooked cops, let's say that. You know what I mean? Because the same thing, you got to understand, a lot of his music, he was going against the cops. And off his, even personal, when we around him, he just had a hatred for crooked cops. So one thing about Pac is that, but he used to always say, like, if it's a cop that really do his job and he's feared, we love him. But because he went through what he went through as a kid, you know what I mean? They used to have to, you know what I mean? They used to be in a building and then waking up and they got to put peanut butter all over the walls to hide the prints because the FBI is coming. They had to run to another house. So he grew up in that environment. You know what I mean? And then he got police brutality against him when he was crossing the street. And then he hear how they put a shotgun to his mother's stomach while she was pregnant. So if you hear this as a kid, you're going to naturally have a disdain or hatred towards the police. When he got older, he realized that all police not bad.
At first, the idea seemed simple. What if Sean Combs wasn't acting alone? What if there were layers behind him? Protection built quietly over time. Katt Williams once hinted at something specific. Not just power, but a number. 7. 7 individuals in the industry who couldn't be challenged. At the time, it sounded vague. Now, people are going back, trying to fill in the blanks.
Prostitutes, having them come to different places and have sex. It was that too. Cause let me just tell you something, man. The feds ain't give a damn about Cassie getting her ass whooped in that hallway. Let's keep it a buck. We had several times that we've seen professional athletes smack and beat up their girls on camera. Jay-Z got his ass whooped by his sister-in-law on camera. What's her name? Solange. You gotta answer. The feds ain't step in and do nothing. The feds don't care about you getting your ass whooped. It's those other things that come under the guidelines that they care about.
Yeah, I mean, the tape comes out, man, and the way I seen it when the tape came out, it made it look like everything Cassie was accusing him of now has credibility.
Before we seen that tape, it was a young lady named Gina that accused Puff of punching her, kicking her, and totally assaulting her while she was pregnant. Not one news media other than I think Tasha K ran that. Nobody did nothing because he was protected by those people. He was still in good with those people. The federal government is just as guilty as Diddy.
Do you believe that media and people in general, or even people in high places, are scared of Diddy? And they're scared like how powerful he is and the things that he could do to them?
I don't think they are scared of him. I think they more so, they don't want him to embarrass their reputation and things that they've been known for. You understand? I think that they don't want, if they was in any of those freak off tapes, if they played a part in any of those Diddy sessions, they don't want it to get out to the general public to make up their brand. That's why a lot of those rappers, that's why a lot of those athletes, they not saying nothing and they quiet as a church mouse. Because now they don't want to mess up their brand and they don't know what he's going to say. You ain't heard nothing from his biggest fan, Stevie J. He been quiet.
A lot of people are quiet. That's a fact. Well, you know, one of the things that happened right after Diddy was arrested is a long list of CEOs stepped down. What are your thoughts on that?
Half of New York City stepped down. So, did you know that, Cam?
I didn't know that, no.
Yeah. In the mayor's office, damn near everybody is stepping down. From fire chiefs to police chiefs to commissioner of this, commissioner of that, the Board of Education and everything. I was like, yo, damn, all of them was on Diddy Island? I don't even know. But what I'm saying to you, allegedly, all these people are stepping down because they don't want to lose their pension. They don't want to be brought up in this whole Diddy mess. And they preparing, it appears to me that they preparing, if anything come out, that they could be already out and it won't be a big to-do. They already someplace else. They already living a whole different lifestyle. So if their name came up, it won't be real big, great news because they're not in those positions anymore. That's what it appeared to me. They was getting out those positions so that it won't be a whole media race if they name come up in any of that stuff. They'd be like Kevin Lau, oh, the former CEO of, you know what I'm saying? It'll go away. But if he was still working there, then it'd be a big news and a big to-do.
One name kept resurfacing. Snoop Dogg. For years, his connection to Sean Combs wasn't hidden. Interviews, appearances, shared spaces, all of it documented, not proof of anything, but enough to raise questions. And more importantly, enough to make people wonder why he wasn't mentioned at all. Because at that level, absence doesn't feel accidental. It feels calculated. Then came another unexpected name. Kevin Hart. Fans started revisiting old clips, early performances, industry connections. Not as confirmation, but as context. Because in an environment like this, proximity matters, and the closer someone is to power, the harder it becomes to separate truth from silence.
Unsolved.
Well, on all honestly, brother, you would have to ask him that. You know what I'm saying? But if I'm looking at it like that, then I know, you know, those mansions are heavily guarded, one. Two, he wasn't getting the love that he would get. I don't think he getting love in LA. I don't know. He said he owns LA, he runs LA, he runs Miami, and he runs New York. So by him running LA, as he say he does, I would feel comfortable too. You know what I'm saying? If I knew for a fact that the person they got, and that was enough to call back all of everything, I would feel that comfortable too. But I wouldn't live there. I wouldn't go there. I'd do business and get on out of there. If I was still afraid, I don't think he may have not ever been afraid. You understand? Because he never acted like he was afraid for whatever reason it was. I can't pinpoint it myself, man. The kid had me running around California like it was a joke, and I knew better than that. So by Mase saying that, I guess Mase was like probably putting the finger on Puff a little bit. Yo, dude, you know why you living out there now, because you know big murders was enough to make everything be smooth. Whatever that everything is.
Do you think Puffy know who is responsible for Biggie death? Do you think he got some inside info on who killed Biggie? Because the murder is still unsolved, so that is wild for him to be living in LA knowing that Biggie got killed in LA, knowing that the murder is still unsolved. That's crazy, man, when you think about it.
Well, if he's listening to the FBI, he knows what happened to Big's killer. He knows what happened to the people who was behind that. If he's listening to the FBI. If he's listening to the streets and everything like that, still in all, they wanted him just as much they wanted Big. If so much they wanted Big. We knew that Big was having flack from the dog pound cats and maybe a few dudes at Death Row, or maybe not. Puff was having flack from the dog pound, I guess, and he was trying to straighten that out. That's probably the reason why him and Snoop went to that thing with the Steve Harvey show. But anyway, I think Puff was just trying to air some stuff out. So he knew Big was leaving his label. He knew Big was starting his own label, having his own thing. So he was trying to straighten out as much as possible so that none of that shit that was happening with the Junior Mafia would go over to Bad Boy and their artists when they start their new thing.
And then there's Mase. Maybe the quietest name in all of this. His history with Sean Combs is well documented. Contracts, fallout, distance. So when everything started surfacing, people expected him to speak, but he didn't. And sometimes, silence says more than anything else. The deeper you look, the clearer the pattern becomes. This isn't about one person. It's about a system. A structure where influence decides visibility, and visibility decides accountability. Because when something gets too big, too connected, too risky, it doesn't get exposed. It gets edited.
That Rat Pack, and I don't even say their names because they said I got their names wrong last time. What's his name? Kushner? What's the other guy? Leonardo? Yeah, his name. Man, I don't keep up with these cats. But I heard that that's not only the tape that's being shot. There's some other tapes out there, other people too with him. And him doing some things with some other people.
So it's quite a few tapes that might be out there, what they're hearing, and I don't want to see the tapes, but I want to know if they really true. Because if they got if they got some tapes out there and it's with some underage, whether it's celebrities or not, it's gonna be crazy, bro. It's gonna be real crazy. And they're gonna have to bring that to forefront because the prosecutor's gonna want those tapes. And they're gonna do whatever they have to do legally to get those tapes. No ifs, ands, and buts about it. So we just better hope for his sake, that that's just a bunch of bull crap. But then there's lawyers out there saying, yeah, the tape does exist. Lawyers got on television to say the tapes exist. I don't really know or trust that, because they was trying to say he had a tape with one of the bodyguards and this lady that came out. So we don't know what to think until we actually see that and we get that version. You remember we had that bootleg version of R. Kelly tape?
Yeah, I remember that.
They don't even bootleg. Yo, they don't even bootleg no more, man. So it's going to be hard to figure it out if it does exist.
Do you believe the guy in the tape is white?
If he's bigger than Diddy and he's not none of the names that I said, probably so. But then they say he was young too.
Yeah, they say he was young.
Let me get his name right. I hope it ain't the Bieber. I hope it's not the Bieber.
That's a good one. It might be him. But if they saying that the guy is young and he's an A-lister, I can't think of that many black people, man.
Right. Not at all. And somebody that more powerful, more of a celebrity than Diddy. You understand what I'm saying? If they were saying somebody that was more celebrity than Diddy, he was an A-lister, he was younger. You know what I'm saying? And if he's not black, it would have to be the Bieber. That's his name, Bieber? They said I got that wrong too. Justin Bieber, allegedly. I don't know, bro.
Right. But when you heard the news that Diddy, he had a tape with another man, did that catch you by surprise or no?
Well, all this shit is by surprise to me. A lot of this shit is by surprise to me, to be totally honest, man. Because I knew Puff, I knew Puff Daddy, I knew Diddy before he was Love and Brother Love and back to Diddy. So, no, but the diddler, he's the diddler now. A lot of it's surprising, but it's not unheard of. Because you hear of all kinds of shit, and whether it registered with you or you internalize it or something like that, that's a whole nother story. But a lot of this stuff is crazy. But this is the world that we live in now, man. That these individuals thinks is all right. Bruh, when does it comes all right to be sitting there eating food off a naked woman? When did we start doing what they do? Let's keep it a buck. When did we start doing what they do? These guys is popping pills. They got Jay-Z dancing with a chick that's into cannibalism and supposed to be witchcraft and stuff like that. When did we start doing that? It's messing up who we are and our culture. And these guys is out here selling it to us like it's all right. And it's not all right, bro. We got to get back to us and what hip hop was meant to be. not what they want you to think it's supposed to be.
Moni Love was there. Cousin Sonny was there. Imrel was outside smoking a blunt, so she missed the infamous picture with all of us together with Katt. And me and him sitting next to each other, two hats on, two cats in the hat.
Yeah.
And he taught me so much in 9 months. Walking away was hard, but it was when the Illuminati first started coming after him. And I'll never forget the day when they breached the house. And I left. You know, back in that moment, Katt was still wearing Kevlar to bed. To bed. I would get in bed with him at night and he would have Kevlar on.
Wow.
In bed.
50 Cent says there are over 100 hours of footage that never made it into the documentary. 100 hours. And that raises the real question. Not what was shown, but what wasn't. Because according to Katt Williams, the truth doesn't always get denied. Sometimes it just gets controlled.